Hey, this is BJ. Thanks for listening to our show's podcast. If you're a fan of all things geeky, you should check out my other podcast, BJ Shea's Geek Nation. We have new episodes every day, and you can check it out at bjgeeknation.com.
Your home is going into foreclosure and you feel like a financial wreck. You don't know where to turn for accurate information. I'm bankruptcy attorney Travis Gagne. Let's talk about some legal options. If we work quickly, we can propose a plan to save your home, modify the loan, or in many cases even eliminate your second mortgage. The consultation is free. I've helped hundreds of people just like you make informed decisions about whether to save their home or exit it on a reasonable, organized timeline. The chapter you choose sets the tone for the next chapter of your life. Please contact me today at choosetherightchapter.com. That's choosetherightchapter.com.
99.9 KISW, the Rock of Seattle. This here is going to make Vicky's head explode. This is completely counterculture to how Vicky lives. Uh-oh. There's this guy, Pete Hegseth. He's a host on Fox News. And he said something recently that might make you want to avoid shaking his hand. Hegseth revealed on air that he hasn't washed his hands in a decade.
As I told you, my 2019 resolution is to say things on air that I say off air. I don't think I've washed my hands for 10 years. Really, I don't really wash my hands ever.
Help me!
I inoculate myself. It's just not, germs are not a real thing. I can't see them, therefore they're not real.
So you're becoming immune to all of the
exactly,
bacteria.
I can't get sick.
My man. That's a man after my own heart.
Oh, yeah? You don't like washing your hands?
I hate washing my hands. Never wash them.
Really?
No, I'm kidding. But my wife gives me a difficult time because I don't wash my hands nearly enough in her eyes.
Oh, wow.
Well, I've told you guys before. There's times where I go number one. I don't care.
Oh, I don't. You know what? I don't think I remember that because I think I should be more disgusted. But do we know that about Steve?
Yeah,
we've had this conversation multiple times on the radio.
Why am I not disgusted by that?
We've had this conversation so many times. I'm dreamt of your wife saying, "Wash your hands, Steve." Oh, actually, I dreamt she told us all to wash our hands.
If I touch a banister, like on an elevator or just in like a public place in a mall, she freaks out about that as well. She's such a germaphobe. She's like you, BJ, in the sense that she gets on a plane, pulls out the wet wipes, and wipes down the entire row of seats, trays, everything, because she just doesn't want germs around her. Where I'm like, I don't care if something falls on the ground, I'll eat it still.
Yeah, I only started wiping that stuff down because my doctor said, look, if you don't want to catch a cold, that's a good way to do it. Otherwise, but I don't care about touching banisters or anything else. I just don't want to be inconvenienced. That's, so I do it not because I believe germs are everywhere. I just like, well, I really hate getting colds and flying, and usually those airplanes are an incubator because people fly sick and there's, the air is recycled. But just like out in the regular world, I mean, I don't care about banisters or escalator handles or whatever.
But here's my thing is there are times, obviously, that I'm washing my hands for certain times, right? But then my wife will bring it up like as if it's a big deal. And so I'm like, at this point, I'm like, I might not just wash my hands, so I don't have to hear you giving me a hard time about washing my hands. Well, like, if she hears me wash my hands, she's like, are you washing your hands? Oh, my gosh. And it's like,
yeah.
Well, yeah, when number two, of course I'm going to wash my hands.
Oh, thanks, buddy. At least I know
that's good.
Yeah. I appreciate that.
So I like this guy. Pissing off America.
So, Pete Hegseth on Fox News says he doesn't think he's washed his hands in a decade.
How many times in a day do you think you're washing your hands, Vicky?
Multiple. Well, not as much now that hand sanitizer's a thing.
All right. How many times do you think you're Purelling your hands?
Multiple times. I want to say anytime I go to the bathroom, anytime I touch anything in the bathroom, even if I go into, the closet to get a Q-tip, I'm washing my hands. Mm-hmm. Like, I'm constantly washing my hands.
How are you with porta potties? Because my wife, I love watching her. She comes out of a porta potty like she saw a ghost. She's like, my hands.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I avoid them. I have a good bladder, so I will just wait.
Yeah.
I'll hold it as much as I can.
She's kind of like that, too. Like, she'll try her best not to use a porta potty unless it's absolutely necessary.
I wonder how we got that way. Because, so you don't believe what people say, Vicky, about that we're washing our hands so much we're actually ruining our skin.
Oh, I could definitely feel it. Like, especially when I was a waitress, like, my hands were cracked and dry all the time for constant washing.
And they're saying that those
Palmolive.
Yeah, and the antibacterial stuff is drying our hands out too. Mm-hmm. And you don't believe that folks are saying they really don't work the way it's supposed to? You don't believe that either? I
think it's more of a comfort thing.
Wow, so there is that. I mean, so it could all not be true. Steve could be completely right that he doesn't need to wash his hands that much.
Who's been sick the least on this show?
Oh, yeah, no doubt about it. You have shown up every day. So even if you have been sick, you haven't shown it.
Which guy doesn't wash his hands on the show? That's right.
Yeah.
Daddy, it sounds like you're on the same page as me, huh?
Yeah, for the most part, germs don't bother me at all. Like, I'll eat food from the floor. I'll touch banisters all day long. And sometimes, like, if I go to, like, number one, I won't wash my hands at all.
Yeah.
Now, do you wash your hands if other people are in the bathroom because of peer pressure?
Yeah, I don't want to have that weird look.
Exactly.
Or if someone's in the bathroom but they're not near me, I'll turn the faucet on and just turn it off so they think I washed my hands.
Why don't you just wash your hands then?
Out of principle.
Yeah.
The same amount of effort. Because we're rebels, Rev.
That's right. Well, F the man.
Oh, jeez.
And his water.
I'll tell you this again. What if it is because, that in fact we're just against stupid humans doing something that somebody thought we should be doing that actually is not good for our health, which would be washing our hands too much. And I have heard this before. I have heard that we wash our hands way too much.
They say that also with with washing hair and things along. I don't know if it's for the same reasons, but it's funny how we're so obsessive about cleaning ourselves when there's certain people that are saying, no, that's not the case. You don't need to do it as much as we do it.
Right. Like, I have to fight with my mom because you're technically not supposed to wash your hair every day because it kind of strips the natural oils from your hair and it dries your scalp out. My mom washes her hair every day and we get into this fight. I'm like, Mom, stop washing your hair every day. No, I
love this. She may be doing it for comfort for the same reason you're washing your hands too much, and you're both fighting with each other, even though you both have your own idiotic ways of doing
she makes
stuff.
fun of
You're
my
shaming
hair.
her for not washing her hair enough, and you're the one that's always getting mad at people for not washing their hands enough.
She shames me for not washing my hair enough.
So basically you guys are just basically shaming each other. It has nothing to do with the hair or the hands. You just want to shame each other.
I think it's also because she comes from Mexico, so when you're hanging out in Mexico, you get that smog on your skin. So I think cleanliness is a very important thing. At least it was in my family. So the feeling of being clean was like a big deal. So now everything's clean.
Hey, Steve, how often do you wash your hair?
Oh, never.
Oh,
yeah. Yeah.
I just put Purell on my head and rub it in.
Fair enough, yeah.
Yes.
I only wash my hair like once a week, maybe.
Really?
Yeah.
So do you wear a hairnet or one of those shower caps?
No, I just don't.
He wears a hat all the time.
That too.
But don't you take a shower every day?
Yeah, I take a shower every day, but I just don't wet my hair.
You don't wet your hair, or you don't soap your hair?
But I don't soap it at all.
Oh, okay. I was going to say, how do you wash your face without letting your top of your head get wet?
He puts a bag over his head.
Oh, fair enough.
Yeah, like people do when they have a cast.
I shower with my head outside of the shower.
Yeah. So this guy's almost 70 years old, the guy on Fox News, and people on Twitter were making fun of him, but others actually supported him. One person said, actually, it wasn't him that's almost 70. One person said, I'm almost 70, and I haven't had a cold or flu in years. Our bodies need some germs to learn how to fight them. Too many germaphobes out there. Yeah. And Hagseth, he shared this hashtag don't wash on Twitter following the social media response to his claim. And he later tweeted that he supports drinking from the garden hose and also riding bikes without a helmet.
This guy's a rebel.
Yeah. Well, you guys laugh at me because I have read articles that talked about like biting your fingernails is actually good for you because there are germs under there and all sorts of stuff that you'll immunize yourself if you actually bite them and eat them. I've heard that.
Yeah, that's disgusting.
And I wonder also about people that pick their nose and then decide it's got to go back in the body. I wonder if that's also all disgusting, but I wonder if it's also a natural way to keep yourself healthy. I just have a wonder, like, why would we do these things unless maybe naturally speaking, our body says this is what you got to do to protect yourself.
You know what you should do? You should just start picking your nose and eating it every day and chewing on your nails every day and see if you get sick.
But see, I don't do any of those, and I don't get sick. So there you go.
Well, I mean, BJ should do this because he gets sick.
Well, I've been a nail biter for years, but I have to say that ever since I started eating healthier and I lost weight, I really don't get sick much anymore. And I also get plenty of rest. But you guys remember me? I would, and I remember myself in my 30s. I would get sick a lot. Of course, I had the kids too.
Yeah, it's their fault.
Yeah,
you should really start eating spiders because that's the only thing that you get sick with these days, right?
Oh yeah, I should eat a lot of spiders. Yeah. You're right, because they're the ones that infect me. But it is funny. Peer pressure has us do things that may not be good for us, and we don't want to change our mind about it. Like Vicky. Vicky is, rather than maybe go talk to somebody and go, hey, you know what? Can I get comfort somewhere else? She's like, no, I'm just going to Purell myself to death.
I mean, I could be doing something worse, right?
I think you do. We just don't know it.
Yeah. That's another human thing. It's like, well, I don't want to change my bad behavior because my bad behavior could be worse behavior. But then from now on, Vicky, if you ever lecture anybody about anything, I'm going to go, yeah, what about the Purell? I'm just going to come right back at you. What about you, Purell girl?
I do like people are giving him a hard time about the whole I can't see them, therefore they're not real with the whole germ stuff. One person tweeted him, other things you can't see, therefore they must not be real. Heat, gravity, atoms, God.
Wow, that escalated. That surely did.
I believe in heat. Thank you.
Yeah, that's interesting. Boy, that was...
I don't see heat, therefore I don't believe in it.
Yeah.
BJ and Migs, mornings on The Rock, 99.9 KISW.
99.9 KISW, The Rock of Seattle. Well, Steve, we've had this conversation before. You're not completely on board
What's
when
that?
I talk about biology pretty much ruling us because we're animals, really.
Right.
We have highly evolved brains compared to other creatures on the planet, but otherwise we're still animals. And this new study out of Australia proves it. This study found that single men naturally smell worse than men who are in relationships.
Single men smell worse.
Yeah, and it's not because of hygiene either.
Okay.
It's because of the fact that this is just the biology of it all. Single men produce more testosterone than married men, and that, of course, leads to a nastier body odor when you got a bunch of testosterone going through you.
Scientists.
Science!
They clearly don't have enough to do.
Well, I love that they do this stuff. It's good to know about ourselves.
Is it?
Yeah,
really, what are you going to do with this
self-discovery,
information?
self-realization. Because if I know this is why I'm doing what I'm doing, because my brain is just telling me I should be attracted to this or I need to go do that, but it's an animal thing, it's not sort of like a decision thing, It makes me feel better about myself. As opposed to going, why can't I control myself? Like, for instance, the women, this is so bizarre. So we put on the cologne, we try to smell nice. I mean, we all do that as a society.
I put deodorant on. I don't do that cologne crap.
All right, well, even deodorant you do so you can smell better.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we do that, and it doesn't matter, apparently, because what they did is they had a bunch of women smelled shirts, and they smelled shirts from single guys, and they smelled shirts from married guys. And even though the married men's shirts smelled better because they were all cologned up and they were less stinky because they didn't have all that testosterone, the women still were more attracted to the single men's shirts in this study. They picked the single man's shirt over the married man's shirt pretty much almost all the time.
How do you propose this study and get somebody to say, yes, we will fund it? We're going to do a study where we're going to have women smell shirts to figure out whether or not they like the scent of a married man or the scent of a single man.
Scent of a man.
College is tough, man. They used to pay us for studies all the time, and I would sign up for them because they would give me $15.
No, I get being on the receiving end. Yeah, you can smell my shirt.
Yeah.
I mean, still to this day, what piece of clothing do you want? I'll let you smell it for $15.
And college is tough as well, dude, because you're also looking for that age of person. You're looking for college-age women who need money. Go, hey, would you smell this for cash?
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, and here's this.
Yeah, they say that body odor can signal kinship, sickness, and genetic compatibility.
Yeah. And so basically women are able to sniff out single men. They can sniff their way to the men that are available and not waste their time with men who are unavailable.
You just got to go to a bar and just start smelling guys' pits, and then you can figure out who the Mr. Right is.
Well, I'm already smelling everything else because of how tall I am, so might as well try the armpits. I might have to jump.
You might have to bring a step stool.
Yes. Why not?
Well, there's, the things that we do.
I like your scent. Yeah.
Musty.
I love this stuff. I love knowing why we do what we do. I really do. I mean, I don't like to read, so I'm glad that they do these summaries for me because I don't want to read the books about it. I know people that love to read books about how insects work and animals work, and then they're fascinated by it. But I mean, just like the study that talked about kissing, that I never knew that kissing was a way to see if your germs were actually and antibodies were actually compatible with somebody else's, so that you would want to mate. And that's how kissing came to be.
I still feel like most of these are just make-em-ups.
See, you're right. That's why you're a Neanderthal. So you don't believe in science. It's right in front of you.
No.
This is why I can't talk to you.
Well, good. I'm glad that I have this feeling that I don't have to have conversations with you over stupid stuff like whether or not a man's shirt is going to get somebody all hot and bothered.
See, that's what it is. I mean, you and I are so different like that. You don't care about that stuff, and I do, and I think it's...
Because you like sci-fi.
Well, I like knowledge is what I like.
Or finding excuses for your behavior.
Yes, exactly. I mean, a lot of us get really, really angry in life because we think whatever happens to us. And I think when it comes to trauma, this could be so helpful in the world of behavioral sciences, knowing that sometimes people do things because we're just acting like an animal. Like we forgive our dogs and cats and things from doing things because we go, well, they're just animals. That's just what they do. But humans are also animals. And sometimes it's not about you. It's about something animalistic as to why they did what they did. And I think that would help me heal better, going, oh, it wasn't a personal attack on me? Oh, all right. Then that makes you feel a little better rather than somebody just hates me and wants to hurt me. So there's another article. I'm going to try this one, Steve.
Okay.
Maybe this won't be so stupid with knowledge for you.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'll have to remember next time I'm at a conversation at dinner and we could. You guys want to talk about this shirt study that was done? It's fascinating.
Dude, here's the thing. I look at your wife.
Yeah.
And you know what? It had to be your shirt that she was sniffing. I mean, there's nothing else about you that's attractive. It must be because she was smelling your testosterone.
Now see you're going for insults in order to feel better about yourself.
Wow. Yeah. I pretty much am. All right. Here's a Business Insider story. Okay. And this is, again, you're not going to like this, Steve, because it's about how you and your mind works and how grocery stores are actually tricking you into spending more money. Again, they're studying brain stuff, Steve. That's why they're able to trick us, because they have this knowledge. We need it, too.
Fair enough, BJ.
Here are the top 5 ways they do so. This is why Costco is king. I don't know why more people don't do this. More grocery stores need to do this because it is so true. They hand out free samples, and it makes you more likely to buy something you wouldn't normally buy.
I don't know, though, if I ever bought something that I had a sample of at Costco.
Oh, I have a few.
Maybe once.
I bought a lot of stuff that way.
Soup and cheese.
Yeah.
Sausage.
Scalloped potatoes.
See, I'll try everything, and they're all delicious, but I never end up buying them.
Oh, man. I now have this new salad pack that I didn't even know anything about at Trader Joe's, but they had it all nice and tasty in that cup, and the girl was nice. By the way, it doesn't hurt if the server's friendly and attractive. That makes you just want to, like, you sit there and go, well, they got it right there. All right, I'll buy it.
See, I'm on the flip side. I like it when they're busy and not looking, and then I could swoop in and grab whatever is the sample, so I don't have to hear the sales pitch.
Yeah,
I never want to hear like oh, this is a really fascinating story about a chip. I'll be able to figure out if I like it or not. You don't need to tell me all the ingredients that are in it. I don't need the sales pitch on a Tostito.
Yeah, there's an art to it. There are some people that are food presenters that are really good at it, and then people that are just going through the motions.
I also heard that Costco has this other trick where if you notice, their aisles aren't, categorized. Like, you don't see anything on the aisles. So you're forced to walk down the mall, and that way there's more chances of you just grabbing random stuff.
Yeah.
I can see that.
Because Costco easily could have signs. I look at the Home Depot, they have signs like, oh, here's what's in this aisle, here's in that aisle. You're right. Costco doesn't do that. So I got to go up and down and go, oh, you know what? I need 45 cases of tuna fish. Yeah, let me put that in there.
But that happens at Home Depot or any of those places as well. If I'm going in to try and find something and I can't find it, but I'm going down some of the aisles and then I'm like, oh, yeah, that looks like a really cool double-sided tape that I could probably use at some point, or something stupid. Like, I don't need it, but I was just like, wow, there's a key that looks like a Seahawks logo. I should get that done.
Yeah, they're smart.
But I notice it more with other places other than Costco doing the samples, but no one does it as good as Costco.
Yeah.
Like some places, they just put that damn tray with chips and a dip, and there's nobody there, and it just looks like...
Gross.
Yeah. Like, yeah, you got the little... the tongs to pick it up, but...
How many kids have gone up there, picking their nose, grabbing some chips, double dipping?
Right.
Oh, I never think of that. I'm like, this is free food.
Exactly.
I'm always like, yeah.
Germs are your side when it's free. I'll eat anything.
Or like, what is it? Whole Foods does it, but they do it with like their weird stuff. Oh yeah, like this weird earthy beverage.
Yeah,
it's like, no, man. Give me some like.
I think Whole Foods has got to be better than that. I don't think they play the sample game as well as Costco.
No, they don't at all.
And they really need to. I don't know why Whole Foods. Maybe now that Amazon's got it, they'll play the sample game.
The QFC in West Seattle had their game up with samples on Sunday.
Really?
They had the cheese man out, and anyone who goes that one day, he like stands there and gets you 3 different kinds of cheese with crackers. They had sushi out. They had free samples of sushi.
There was one guy at the old when we had the Top Foods that's no longer there in Puyallup, but he would just walk around the produce section with a knife out. Yeah. And if you were like near an apple, he'd just pull one out and slice it up and give you one.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, it was pretty awesome.
Yeah, we got a new. I think there's a couple of stores. Finally, it's an Oregon-based chain called New Seasons. They got a pretty good sample game too, and they have it right as you walk in the door. And they got a whole counter, and the people talk to you, and they're more like. They're really like, this is cool. I hope you guys like it. It's tasty, as opposed to going into and then if they see that you care a little bit, then they might tell you more info. So they feel you out before they give you the laundry list of ingredients and stuff. Here's another thing that I never realized was a ploy.
Okay.
Like at Costco, you got the big shopping carts because, well, you're buying a lot of big product. But I guess these big shopping carts, they are getting bigger. I've noticed at other supermarkets. It makes you think your cart's not that full, so you can put more in there. How about that psychological warfare?
What do you guys think about those little mini shopping carts? I like them because it makes me feel like I'm a giant.
Adorable.
I feel like I can maneuver them better.
My girlfriend uses those ones over the big ones every single time.
You're talking about the short one, not the ones that some stores have for little kids, right?
No, that would be
or otherwise known as the Vicky cart.
Yes. No, the short ones.
Yeah, they're not the same height as a regular cart, but they're
mini. Yeah, the mini guys.
Yeah,
they're half the length.
I think even more than half.
Yeah, you need them because there are a lot of stores like the Mercer Island QFC is small, so the aisles aren't that big. You need a little. I don't know how you can do a big cart in those aisles.
I never thought that I could fill up more. I never really have that mentality of I need to fill up this cart with everything.
Oh, that's what they're thinking. How about the expensive brands they put at eye level? When something's front and center, you're more likely to buy it.
I see that all the time.
Yeah.
Because I always try and get the bath soap that's on the cheap for my hockey bag. I don't why am I going to have an expensive body soap for that reason? But you have to look at the bottom shelf to get that kind.
Yeah. And all the essentials they hide at the back of the store. Have you noticed that? They call it perimeter shopping, but it's because they want you to have to go through the center because the milk, the bread, all the stuff that you need are always at the back of the store, so you have to go buy all the other stuff first. And you might go, oh, hey, Pop-Tarts. Of course I need those.
I always heard that the reason why it was always towards the back, it's so you didn't have to travel with all the cold stuff while you grocery shop. So you get your cold stuff at the end, so it's less time without the refrigeration.
Now, here's another one I'd like to throw at you. When you see something that says 10 for $10, do you believe you have to buy 10 of them to get that deal?
No.
Oh, good for you.
No.
Some of them you do. Some of them they go if you buy 10, but they're not always the case. But I always have to look because a lot of folks don't know that, and they're buying 10.
Yeah, I remember there used to be those waters, those flavored waters locally made. I can't remember. Cascade.
Talking Rain?
No, I think it was Cascade ones.
Cascade Ice.
Yeah.
Oh, those guys.
And every time
those.
they're awesome. And I remember I'd go to the store and it would say 10 for $10. But then I'd get 3 of them and it was $3. I'm like, okay, you guys are just trying to get us to buy 10 of them, but you could just buy 3 and it's still a bottle's $1.
That's exactly why they do 10 for $10. You're absolutely right.
The ones that they never do that with is with alcohol. It'll say $20.99 for a bottle of Jack, and then it says under if you buy 6, and it's like so you think that you're buying it for cheap, like $20, but then you go ring it up and it's actually $30 because you don't buy 6 of them.
Again, though, it is Jack, so I think 6 is fair. I'll just buy 6, and then you can say, "Hey, I got a deal."
It's very true.
You got 6 bottles of Jack waiting for your delicious consumption.
Today's podcast was brought to you by Travis Gagne, bankruptcy attorney. He's here right now and has agreed to answer more of your questions about bankruptcy. I owe a lot of back taxes. Can bankruptcy help me?
Bankruptcy can discharge back taxes under certain circumstances. Some types of taxes are never dischargeable, like if you have taxes from an employee, if you ran a business and didn't pay employee taxes or sales taxes. Those types of taxes cannot be discharged in bankruptcy. However, most people don't have those kind of taxes. Most people have just regular income taxes. If you owe income taxes and you filed your tax returns but just weren't able to pay the taxes, if the taxes are more than 3 years old and you filed the tax returns, those types of taxes can be discharged in bankruptcy in most circumstances, especially through a Chapter 13 case.
Thanks, Travis. If you have more questions about bankruptcy, you can reach out to Travis anytime at choosetherightchapter.com. That's choosetherightchapter.com. Thanks for listening.
Today tastes like game day at home, like assigned couch seating, like coffee table dining, and an ice-cold Coke to cool down the heat. Today tastes like watching football is supposed to, and it never tasted this good. Coca-Cola, together tastes better.
Football season is here. That means it's time to load up on some delicious ice-cold Coke. Pick up Coca-Cola today.